Black and White Sessions. We are so excited today to have the incomparable Elin Carlson.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
I am so glad you're here today. This is super exciting. We've been talking about it a long time.
Yep.
And you have been on my list since the inception
Really?
of
Oh my
the Black and White
gosh.
Sessions.
Thank you.
Yes,
This
I'm
is such a
excited.
great idea. I love this.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I feel like, we've had a lot of different styles represented
Good.
on this channel, and I feel like you just kind of bring about a whole nother side of all the different genres that are represented within studio singing and live singing and all of that.
Good.
And you've been in LA, you've been working a long time.
Yes, very, very blessed to have a career that I've had.
Yes, with some incredible
amazing.
credits. But I want to go back and just for a minute. And where are you from?
I grew up in a little town called Wairika,
Okay.
which is near Mount Shasta. It's at the top of California, just before you get to Oregon. You go through Wairika.
Okay, and musical family?
Yes, my mom especially. She had me and my sister at the piano when starting at 3. And she comes from a musical family too.
Okay.
She sang with her sisters, and her mom was a singer, so I'm kind of the culmination of a family legacy, I think.
So, fast forward a little bit. I'm assuming there were musical lessons along the way.
Oh, a few,
Just
yeah.
a few, and then maybe into some college years and beyond.
That too, yes.
So, how did it go from you've graduated college to what happens next?
Oh gosh, I kind of took the scenic route. I came out to LA to be a film composer, and that really didn't work at the time because the technology was changing so quickly. I wasn't equipped to do that, and I really wasn't the right kind of composer to do film composing, as I realized when I got here. So I fell into singing, which I'd done all my life anyway, and got into groups like the LA Jazz Choir, LA Master Chorale, the Opera Chorus. Went to Europe to pursue an opera career for a few years and came back, and it was when I came back that I had switched from mezzo to soprano and kind of found myself. Sometimes it takes a while. And then I got connected into the session singing world.
And sort of found your voice.
I found my voice too, yep.
And the voice that people fell in love with and have continued to hire you for.
Yeah, I found the full range of my voice, let's say, yeah.
Yeah, and that's important because I think a lot of singers, especially younger singers, maybe that are moving to Los Angeles with hopes of being able to sing on film scores and things like that, knowing who you are and what you're about is important.
Yes.
And finding that voice. And sometimes it takes a few years.
Yeah, it can take a while, yeah.
Yeah, which is fascinating. When I was doing some research, I was kind of looking back over some of your resume, and I was just so blown away at just the body of work. And I feel...
I know, I'm like, wow, myself.
It is wow, and I feel like you have this entire section of, like, opera credits, and, which I'm sure is a passion and a love of yours.
Full-on opera, full-on performances of big leading roles that I've done with some small companies.
Yeah, which is phenomenal. And then you
fun.
Flip on to the other side of it, and it's all of this TV and film and all of this crazy stuff down that we were just talking about Star Trek.
Star Trek. And Sixth Wave, my a cappella group, which there are so many different kinds of genres with them, from jazz to pop to...
Which I'm a fan.
Yeah,
I have an album.
That was so fun to do. Yeah, that was stretched all of us. It was really fun.
That's good, though. But you keep challenging yourself.
Yes.
And whatnot. But hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of films, Elin. I mean...
Well, it's a lot. And the most amazing thing about doing all this work is, I've been on this stuff, but I've worked with the best people on the planet in our time. Like John Debney recently, and Danny Elfman. And working with other singers that you had on here. The list, if I list one, I'll be in trouble because I don't list them all. So all of them that I've worked with, and just every week I get to work with people that you know, people that you don't know. I also just did a reunion concert with a conductorless ensemble I worked with 20 years ago called Zephyr, Voices Unbound. And 15 of us came back together, and we just ran through this very, very difficult Jean motet twice and then nailed it in this concert. And it's those kind of quality singers that I just crave working with. And then working with other people, like on and off stage and on the films. Whenever I show up for a film call, I'm surrounded by talent that's off the charts. And I'm honored to do that. I'm honored to be a part of that. I feel like I have to up my game to really be a part of it too. So
well, and I think, for you too, especially, you've been able to do a lot of solo work within.
Yes.
You know, a lot of people that may be following the Black and White Sessions don't understand, like, when you hear a choir on a film, how many people are usually on those, in those choirs?
20 to 80.
So anywhere from 20 to 80 people are singing for these films. And at times, they do require solos or things like that. And Elin is one of those people that get asked to do things that you've heard her do in these films.
Yeah.
And so, just how does that work? Do you typically have to come back on a different day, or do you do it on the same day?
It's usually on the same day after the session when I'm really tired.
Yeah.
And then the pressure's on because
timing.
Yeah, and then it's usually just a few bars, or it might be something else, or something really creative that the composer wants to do, or sometimes it's the middle of the session with all of the singers looking at you.
Yes, which is
really fun.
No pressure.
No pressure. And you just breathe and you just sing it, and yeah, I'm honored to be chosen to do that, because it's fun to actually have to to do it like that. So yeah.
And a lot of the younger gals, you know, I mean, it is true. You know, I have been here for quite a few years now, and so you hear the rumblings amongst the people who work in the industry, and your name always comes up with the highest regard.
Thank you.
And some of these younger gals, they really look up to you and aspire to one day have this career that you have been able to have, you know. I do want to talk a little bit about Star Trek.
Okay. I'm always happy to talk about Star Trek.
Because we're going to cut away right now so you can hear Star Trek, and then we're going to talk about it, okay? And now we're back.
And now we're back.
And now we've heard you do the Star Trek theme, and I'm just amazed and blown away by all of the insanity of it, really. But let's talk about how it came to be that you got to sing the Star Trek theme.
Well, they re-recorded the original theme from the show, the first show from the 60s. They did a remastered version visually, so they re-recorded the theme. They kept Bill Shatner's original voiceover, recorded the orchestra, and then I got referred to do the gig. I still have to say thank you, Rick Logan. He knew I'd worked with Danny Elfman on some kind of science fiction themey things. He kind of knew I had the kind of sound that was quasi-operatic, quasi-theremin thing. But the really cool thing about it for me is that I've been a total Trek fan since high school. So I was on it. Of course, I'd heard it a million times, but I went back and really listened carefully to the original singer, Norma Jean Loulie, who did it, and emulated what she did from the portamento to the vibrato to the phrasing, and made sure I had everything exactly the way she did it to honor it, so that, you know, as a Trek fan, I would be satisfied. And then I got to go in with the orchestra there, which often as singers we don't get to do. We're recorded as choirs or soloists separate from the rest of the musicians. So the orchestra rehearsed this piece, and I got to hear what an incredible little gem of composition that it is that Alexander Courage did for this theme. There's so many intricate parts and difficult, challenging things that they had to overcome. They rehearsed it for an hour. Then they recorded it, and they must have blasted through it 20 times with me singing in the booth with my homemade triples that I made in high school that I brought, because I'm still a Star Trek geek. And yeah, and after about 20 takes, the conductor says, Greg Smith says, I think we've got enough from you. But I was like, I'll do it again, because I'm a total geek. Yeah, it was such a trip. I felt like it was a culmination of so many things that came together, from my devotion to the show historically to how I sing and to the referral, that was just kind of like, this is one of the reasons, I can't say it was the reason I was born, but it was like the high point for me in so many ways.
It's definitely one of those milestone moments.
It was amazing.
In your career, for sure.
It was just, it's a treat on all levels.
Well, Elin, I cannot thank you enough for coming and being a part of the Black and White Session family.
Yes.
We are thrilled to have you. We are thrilled to feature you here.
Thank you.
We wish you all the best.
Thank you. And likewise. And for all the singers here, working, ready to work, let's sing together.
Yes. Right. We'll see ya. Yay! Yay.